Ooh. Let's crack that one off. Ooh. And then we can do the settings. Let's do our settings. Oh, it smells a little bit like paint in here. Has someone been doing a little cheeky spray painting? Maybe. I can't get it away. I completely have. Let's just check the dryness of those. Not quite, but right. Come on, can you load, please? Let's just have a little look, see if anyone's on already. Oh, son of a bitch. Well, while that's refreshing, I'm just going to move this out of the way. Got a hoover because I got scraping off a load of mould lines and little bits, so they went everywhere. So I like to have a hoover on hand for that. You go there now, thank you. And I'll just there we go. Let me just tweak these settings. That one, yes. That one on. Let me just go edit. So what we're doing today. Warhammer. And how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, and 6 giveaways. 10 no description needed for this one. Let's go Warhammer, and then give, and then I type in GW games. That one. There we go. No description needed. I do need a Discord link. Let's get that. Discord. Because I think it's good just to establish the routine of putting the link on. I feel like that's the way to go. I need to get my fan on as well for when I come in and sit and paint. Right, let's get this Discord link. So we go here, and then server settings, that's the one. That's what we want. And I like having the Discord open because it has proven useful, because some people have posted stuff and I've been able to look across the room and see them right away, which has been pretty handy, frankly. Let's paste that in. There we go. Change that again. Thank you very much, Dance. You've totally helped me out with that different thumbnail. I do appreciate that. I should make a variety, frankly, and change that up. I guess when I get a spare moment, I could do that, but maybe not today. Maybe I just want to get on and get some good progress going on. That should save anytime now. Let's have a quick look back on the old, see if anyone's in. Oh, there's people already here. Hello. Let's just make sure that's saved. Change from pink to yellow. Okay. We're good. I do believe we're good. Yeah, we are all sorted. I can come sit down. Ah, there we go. Hello. Someone's I've been changed from pink to yellow on the sticky note. Pink to yellow. Two tin barbs. Are you? Who are you? Are you Cal? Who are you on there? Are you? I'm gonna hang on. Are you? You don't happen to be Monokin or Stumper, do you? That would be bonkers if it is you. Or is it Cow? Any one of those three is fantastic news. Cow! Cow! Right. I've been waiting for you to come back, Cow. As you can see, you're Cow Carrot Smith. You're up there, and you're on that board because you're the first person to donate. There has been another one since, but you were the first. No one can take that credit away from you, Cow. Okay? So, hang on. I thought of a joke. Let me know if this is funny. I'm going to just do what I think your voice is as well in this particular... I don't know what you know what you call it, but anyway, just go ahead with it. So, Cal Smith, you have been found guilty of the most egregious crime of carrot theft. Are you prepared to hear your sentencing for this egregious act?
Yes, yes, I believe I am. Very well. Your punishment for this most disgusting criminal act, that being the one of the thieving of the carrot, shall be you must consume 10 carrots. Oh, that's not so bad. I think I could definitely eat 10 carrots with your anus. No. That's the joke I came up with about the carrot theft. I've been amused by it. I thought about it the first day after you popped on, but that's the joke, and that's the crime you must pay. I know you donated, and I did actually well, no, I didn't buy carrots. I totally legitimately thought about buying carrots with the money, but it's still in YouTube world. It hasn't released, so there's that. But yeah, so that's the that's the punishment you shall pay. You must consume 10 carrots with your anus. I find it funny, but well, there we go. Let's get on. So, Halloween miniatures. I tell you what I do have. Okay, so this is what changed from yesterday. So, wanted to cheer myself up, and if you notice this pile, the table trades. Hang on, me math's good. 1, 2, 3. There was 4 before, guys. What happened to the 4th? So if we go this way, oh, there's a random poster. However did that get there? Now I want to make a bit of space as well because I've been a busy bee. We've been a little bit late on this stream because I've been a busy bee. We hit upon an idea yesterday that I really like, and I like so much so that I've put it into action. Where are we? So yeah, I opened Secundus. The Van Sar models. Okay, so I knew that the Gene Stealers were going to be amazing and I was going to love them. But the Van Sar figures, they're delicious. They're absolutely delicious. So I want to talk about the Orc set as well. But yeah, the Van Sar guys, they're delicious. The 2 little Tomb Hunters. And they could totally be proxies for my idea of trying to play out a planetary compliance during the Great Crusade. So they are really nice looking models, but how wet are these? Are they dry enough? They're a little wet. They're a little wet on the bottom. But what I've done is, from the Secundus box, I have grabbed out and cleaned up and base coated the wall sections. So we now have walls, because we were talking about having people's names on certain characters, which I like. But then we hit upon the idea last night of having graffiti on these wall panels. So I've got loads of these, well, not loads, but I've got like a few of these double panels, and then we can practice our weathering. We've got these very fancy doors like Event Horizon, Alien, those ones. I've got a regular door, and then we've got 3 more wall panels. 1, 2, 3, and I've actually sprayed them. This is my first Necromunda terrain. I did buy the original 1990s Necromunda, and that had a lot of these wall pieces, but I resold it to just because I needed some money. I bought it for 40 and I resold it for 100, which was quite nice, one of my better deals. But now we can do graffiti, so we need to come up with some 40k relevant made up slurs that aren't real but sound horrible, so we can have a good old little chuckle about those. And then if someone comes on here and gets legitimately bent out of shape for our made-up slurs, then we can all have a good laugh at their expense because we've totally made them up. You know, we've totally made them up. They're just made-up slurs for a sci-fi setting. You know, I think that's lovely. Now, the Orc and Goblin Tribes Battalion, right? Apparently, it's one of the weakest battalions in Old World because the chariots are quite good, but the Goblin Infantry and the Orc Infantry, apparently the meta is that people just take Night Goblins and Black Orcs instead. However, now that I've heard they're a bit poo, it makes me want to keep it all the more and use those Orcs all the more. If anything, I will put them against the toughest units coming at them the other way and just punish them. Oh, I've just noticed that I've left all of my brushes in here overnight. That's pretty common. But I like the terrain. I like that they're double panels. I didn't know they were going to be double panels. So there's lots of room there so we can practice weathering. And I figured I could go kind of bonkers with them in the middle, but we can have we make this edge here like a little skanky seam, and make that unified, like have a universal join seam, so when you put two pieces together it doesn't look totally out of place. So rather than having like pink meeting green or something, maybe orcs can call smaller weaker orcs piggers in reference to classical orcs. Oh, so yeah, so these would be my piggers. I've got my pigger orcs here, pigger battalion. I like that. Yeah, I like that. And that is in reference to the fact that the weaker orcs go after weaker food, in that they can only catch and get pigs because they can't eat men. Huh? Maybe that could be the law behind it?
You filthy piggers! Aye, get those piggers off of here, front and centre. We got some Yumis. We got some Yumis that need bashing.
Piggers. Piggers could work. I think we could go with that. Right, so delicious times come. Yeah, we can call them piggers because they can't take down bigger bads. So they're kind of a bit of a joke. They scrape by. They can only go after weaker things. So we need the old Evil Sun's Red. Or should we just null oil the gold? I think I'm going to null oil the gold first. Let's start with something a little easy. So we'll just crack out the old null oils. How are we doing this morning, guys? But yeah, like I said, I would have been on about an hour earlier, but I was just going through the Secundus box. And I was like, I want to get on the stream, but at the same time, I really want to have these walls done. I like progress, you know, guys. I like things going on. So to me, getting the walls up so that we can start doing graffiti if we have any ideas. I mean, I could write piggers. I could write piggers on those walls. Just because it's Necromunda doesn't mean we can't have reference to piggers, because it could also apply to orcs in the 40k setting, you know, that an orc calling an orc a pigger is essentially calling him weaker, you know. We could do that. I mean, yeah, we've got our first slur, pigger. Yeah, there we go. We got our first slur. I mean, for orc insults, I mean, what else would you call them? No teeth. No teeth would be a bit of a thing to call an orc. But piggers, we're keeping it. You know what? I'm liking piggers so much, I think I should write piggers down. Let's write it down. I'm going to write piggers. Piggers. Yeah, let's whack that on. I will trim this one down as well. But piggers it is. We're going to go with piggers. That's the plan. Cool. Okay, that's just some news on a table trade. So basically, all of my table trades for models are on hold. These table trades are coming in for... So piggers, I just put it up there. It's there. Table trades now on the food budget. I won't be getting anything more fun. I'll be working with what I've got from now on, which is fine. But I can entertain myself here with you guys. And I don't have to necessarily lean on table trades for some excitement. Yeah, because yesterday I missed out on a brilliant deal, which I've got to stop thinking about it, but it bugs me because it was a good deal, and I would have been the first in to get it. Stop thinking about it, table. Stop doing it to yourself. Maybe there's some alphabetic orc letters. So piggers. So we could swap out some letters for sure. And we could, it might not be ER, it might be AR. Maybe it wouldn't be spelt entirely correct. Maybe, I don't know. But if I'm calling someone a pigger, that might bend someone out of shape. You might get someone thinking that I'm meaning something else. And if now the thing is, it's infinitely funny now, because if someone does get bent out of shape, not only can we explain it, but it's over something that's not real. It's not rooted in the real world at all. So if someone actually got bent out of shape, that would be kind of delicious, and we could lean into it. You know? I feel like that's funny. I feel like we've got something there. Oh, I don't want to spend too much time down here with this ink. There we go. That's enough time. A little bit will do you. It's really useful, null oil on God. Oh my God, what am I doing? Oh no, I'm putting null oil on. It's meant to be Reichland Flesh Shade. I need to get some water on this. I totally forgot my own gold effect. Oh no, wipe that off. Wipe that off, table, you lousy pigger. You goddamn no good filthy pigger. You've put black on. What are you doing? It's not null oil. Oh man, that is okay. So that is washed off. I need to dry this. I don't have tissue. I'm going to use my t-shirt. In all that, I can't believe I just default back to factory settings there for doing metallics. Let's just wipe all that off. Under the greaves. I need more water. Oh man, I can't believe I did that. Talk about not thinking. Right, so this, you can see it's cleaned off. I've cleaned it off. Luckily it hadn't really dried in any places, so just an overabundance of water. But we won't be doing the ink just yet then, clearly. What we can do is we can do some edge highlighting on this face, clean up this face a little bit. So the highlights were Evil Suns mixed with a little orange, so we're going to do that. Oh man, I really messed that up. I just wasn't paying attention. So let's go red. Is there any of that evil? No, is that still... Oh, it is still okay. Okay, let's put a little bit of orange in. The wet palette held up overnight. That's pretty handy. Let's take some of this orange. There we go. And let's just whack that on. Oh, that's a lot of orange. Let's try and just get that mixed in. I'm going to move the camera down a little bit because so we can just see what I'm mixing up here. Now, apparently, according to Francois, using a tile is better for this, and a wet palette isn't so good for colour matching and mixing. I've got a load on the end of that brush. I'm going to have to get rid of that. But yeah, man, I can't believe I did that with the inks. See, no one's perfect. I've never pretended to be perfect, but that's a bit of a big muck up, frankly. So let's go straight in, no pressure. We're just going to do the highlights on the face and around the eyes. Let's see if I can get this right. So we're just going to come in here and we're just going to touch up just ever so slightly around the eye sockets. Let's see if I can get it right. This is actually, I can see this is really quite orange, so we'll put some on just on the tops there. And it's the under eyelid that's the issue. So I've got to get in ever so slightly. I'm going to keep talking whilst doing it. And I have nailed it. If you haven't liked already, like please, because I just nailed that. You can see that the under eyelid is done. It's just the eyeball now. I know Halloween isn't big in Europe. Do you celebrate it though? It's my absolute favourite time. I know it's bigger in America. We don't really celebrate it here in Finland at all because everyone's like super introvert. You might get a couple, but they tend not to be Finns. It is sort of creeping in because Finland is quite heavily influenced by America in some ways, but the general introvertedness of Finns, they don't necessarily. What you might do is you might pre-arrange with a neighbour to go on knock on their door with the kids, so that the people know to have snacks. You don't often get just randomers. You might get a couple of kids trying to score some sweeties, but yeah, not really. It would be nice if it was more. The American style trick-and-treating sounds amazing with everyone out and about. I think that sounds lovely. So we've got a bit of an issue there. There's a bit of bleed at the back of the eye. I mean, it's not going to happen if I don't go in and try. Ooh. And then the worst bit is under there. That's the worst offender. Wow. Needs just a tiny bit more. Literally less than a millimetre. Ooh. Let me look. You can still see it. You can still see that it's like that. I mean, do I push in? It's such a small amount now. Do I push in with a red or do I try and ink? I think I might have to put a dollop of ink in that eye because it's so... This eye's fine, but this one, I think it's going to have... I'm going to have to do that one with ink. The fresh spray paint from these wall panels are making me feel a little bit giddy. I've just realised that I'm wiping water on the prize bag for the drawer. So I might need to move that. Well, we know what the prize is. I'll just put it up here instead. We know that there's prizes available. I would trick or treat, but It's very taboo for adults to do so, so I don't. My favourite part is decorations and dressing up, even though I don't go anywhere in my costume. Why don't you just have kids? I tell you what, having children has allowed me to go and hang out in play parks again. And I forgot how nice it was to sit on a swing and just chill. But you can't do it as a solo adult, especially as a man. If you decide to start hanging out in play parks, it doesn't go well for you. Let's just put it that way. So, eyes. Yeah, that eye is a bit big. Oh, now I've turned it, I feel like we could do something with it. I have mixed all this red up. Let's try. I'm going to turn it towards the light so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. But I'm going to go in and try and just ever so slightly. You can do it, table. This really is pushing the top end of my skills. Oh, just ever so slightly in that recess. Hey, that's looking... Oh! I went too far. So now there's like a dot in there, but you can hardly see it. It's ever... You know what? We could live with that. There is still white in there. It's just the smallest little sliver. I say we... He's got a bit of a squint on now. I'm going to cover it up. So I have basically just repainted over that eye. I've repainted over that eye, and what I will do is I'll crack out the skinniest brush I have and give that another go. But I've painted over that eye. There is an eye in there. It's just tiny. And what I did was, when I did the white, I was a bit cavalier, and it went into the recesses. And then trying to cover those up, it went back over the eye. So it just isn't going to work. So now we have this guy. Let's have a look at the reds. We've got some reds that we could build up. We've got a little bit of gold on that leg. That's wrong. But as I've got the lighter red, what I'm going to do is crack out a starter brush and start bringing up these edge highlights. Let's find a brush. There we go. And then we can go with the Evil Suns and bring that up. Can I get a like from anyone who's not already liked? I have to ask, because the alternative is that nothing progresses. Oh, they've already left. Heresy! Heresy, you shall be confined to the pits of hell. Pits of hell? Hell's basically the warp, right? We all... Here's a good question. Does anyone else consider the movie Event Horizon like a prequel to Warhammer? Like canon? Like early warp travel? I kind of think it is. I'm going to start with this foot. Now, what's an issue is that the light is not helping me. I need to move it. I need to reposition it a little bit. We had a Shit. What was that? Oh, I can't bend down to do that. I'm old. I'll have to pick that paint up later. Let's get in here and do this. There we go. So we just want to clean it up ever so slightly. It's got a little bit of null oil on. As collateral damage, but I'm not gonna beat myself up about too much. Confirmed to Pizza Hell. It's all thin crust and burned with blue cheese, no sauce, and the only topping is rotting pineapple. That sounds like something the Emperor's children would feed you just for giggles. But in your mind, you're eating a delicious pizza, but really that's what you're eating, and then you snap out of it for a second, just long enough to realize that it's not even your hand feeding you the pizza. It's like a multi-limbed tentacle monster with a big butt. That would be wearing your dad's face. that's I kind of feel like that's the kind of stuff they'd pull. So these talons, I'm just going to leave them red. I am certain that the person who made this glued on the Morzichi legs. I'm certain of it. And that there are hooved legs out there. I could have Googled it beforehand. Should have, but I was too caught up spraying walls. Yeah, so I'm just not sure if Piggers should be my first bit of graffiti. I would kind of like it to be a name. I was thinking like a someone was ear, you know, WOZERE. I'd quite like that. Is it bad that the paint from The paint fumes are making my face hot. Is that a bad thing? Have I brought those panels in prematurely because I wanted to show them? Have I messed myself up? I do feel a little bit hot in the face. I say we just continue on. Let's push through it. I'm sure it'll be fine. So little bits of red. It is more dramatic now that there's the null oil. It's a bit more pronounced on the legs, but seeing they're not just more messed up than Night Lords. Don't include the torture victims and their chunks of what they do with Night Lords. I mean, who's worse, Emperor's Children or Night Lords? I mean, it's gonna be terrifying either way. You wouldn't want to bump into one of them. You wouldn't want to be captured. That's for sure. You definitely would not want to be captured. I think that's an all-over bad move if they caught you. But I mean, realistically, with Emperor's Children, you might not necessarily know you are captured. You might think you're going voluntary. You know, you might be. You might have had your pickle tickled enough to just give up willingly. You know, that's what I reckon. I reckon there'd be a lot of trickery and what look like good deals that are just not. That's what I feel. So apparently as well, even the better or even best painting live streams only hold about 20 people apparently, which I don't know is either good or bad. So we're like 25% of what the best can bring to bear at the moment. We're 5, and then we go down to 20 when one person drops out. But if you haven't already, drop me a like, and I'll tackle that eye right now. If someone drops a like, I'll go and repaint that white dot of an eye right now. Still on 2. No edge highlighting for me, he says whilst getting this ready for edge highlighting. So I don't need to, there's a little bit of white in that little recess there. We do need to finish these skulls as well. We've got this whole pile of skulls on the back here. I'd rather Night Lords than Emperor's Children. Night Lords like to stitch you into flesh skin blankets where you can still scream, though. They like to do stuff like that. Yeah, I guess maybe Emperor's Children would keep you forever. Oh, it is free. Yeah, it is free. Okay, we're going to go do the eye. So it's already beaten me once on stream, but we're going to go back to it right now. I will just, in the interests of getting this... So the legs are a bit different now because of that null oil, but I think it's okay because it is just the leg. That's flesh there, right? Yeah, that's flesh. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in and just block this out because I missed it earlier. But I'm just going to cover that red there, just cover up the white. And it's definitely going to go over on the gold as well, but we can touch that up later. The main thing is, see, I do that. I know I should have gone in with the Blood Angel contrast if I wanted to do it right, but I feel like I can get away with just hiding that in there. You won't necessarily see it. Okay, we're going to go to the eye. So I've already got some... No, I don't have any white, so let's get some white out. It's just a tiny eye. Look at it. It's just in there. I'll turn it to the light. Can you see it ever so slightly in there? It's smaller than that one. I got that one okay. But this one is even tinier to the point of where I've got to crack out the smallest brush I have. I can't do it with this layers synthetic brush. I've got to go smaller. So let's just get some non-watery white together. Okay. Right, so my fine detail brushes are all in awful condition, but I'm going to find one. Okay, here we go. What about this monstrosity? Is it even going to be able to focus on it? There we go. What about that 2-strand abused brush? We'll give it a go with that one. Kurz didn't even... Spoilers. Kurz didn't even try and fight when he was killed. He was so obsessed with dying in his end. Right, let's get the white. So, that's the amount we're working with. There we go. So, let's give it a go. Whoop. If we nail it first time, if I get it first time, everyone do me a favour and give me a like. Because this is... I'm not saying it's high level skill, but it's pushing... It's the very top end of what I can do at the moment. So, I need to track down the eye. Let's see if turning it will help. There it is. It's right in there. Okay, and I'm going to keep tooking whilst I do the Putin. But this is okay. And in we go. But no, the brush has no substance to it whatsoever. I'm bailing on that one. It's got no, because it's so few paint strands, it just bended rather than applying paint. So I'm going to go with this one. Okay, we're going to go in with the synthetic. Here we go. Oh, it's too big. Table, just do it, you numpty. You can always repaint it. And... Ooh, oh. Ooh, one more. Ooh, it looks all right. I got it. Can you even see that, guys? You can't even hardly see it, but it's there. He's in there. He's in there, but he's not very bright. I'm gonna try and bring it up. Come on, table. Just bring it up ever so slightly. There we go, it's in there. So again, the eyelid. Can I talk about the books? Can I talk about the Horace Heresy books? A little bit. So can I talk about those, or am I going to spoil it for someone? Can't see it so nice. Let me hold it up. See it? It's there. It's there. It is there. It's there. Trust me, please. It's definitely there. Yeah, it's there. It's about as good as I can get. Well, hang on. I have ever so slightly got the eyelid. So it's the same issue as before. Now, we tried to paint that eyelid, didn't we? And it didn't work. And that's why we've had to repaint the white. So don't give me a like. I'm going to go in and get the eyelid again. That's what I'm going to do. But this brush is basically dead. It's too skinny to do anything with. I've just kept it around because I don't like to chuck stuff away. Let's go back to the reds. We did that foot. But what I'm going to do is, with this one, I'm just going to go ahead and go with some edge highlights now, or some highlights with the orangey. As we've already got it mixed up, I'm just going to go ahead and do it and get this bit done. Because what I realised is I spent too much time on stream yesterday blocking areas out. And what I don't want to do is then have just a huge amount of edge highlights to do. I don't want to have that. So I'm just going to come in and start bringing this talon up. This chickeny leg. I'll just do a little bit. It might not even be edge highlights on all of this. I just want to bring up any raised edges. I don't know why, but it feels like my light is dimmer today. I don't know why that is. But whoever suggested more lighting yesterday, as you can see, I've got the post-it up. It's definitely what I was going to work on. If I wasn't spray painting Hive Secunda stuff, I would have done that. But I'm very interested in having them as either just a guard squad as well, but also they could be my race of disconnected humans that are brought into compliance, which I really like. I like the idea of that because their suits do look pretty techy. So they could be like lost. They could definitely be like lost remnants of humans. The only trouble is there's not a lot of those models available, but maybe a small bit. Yeah, for some reason it's harder to see today. Have my eyes gone? Have my eyes finally given up on me? Right, and there. I'm not so concerned about this inside leg. I don't think it needs to be dramatic. I really feel like we can just get away with doing what we're doing. And I think that already looks just fine. I don't think you'd bat an eye at that. I think you'd be absolutely fine with it. yeah, I don't feel like I need to do much more with that. I will do this bit though, because this bit does look a little flat in comparison. I should have set up the other light. I didn't think I was too wrapped up with graffiti, and calling people filthy piggers. It would be so delish. Just for everyone who's in here now, if someone comes on and is legitly bent out of shape, I'm just going to super lean into it and start calling them it, because it's not real. It's not about a real thing. Oh, it's so delicious. And the angrier they get at it, the more funny it becomes. It would be so good. And yeah, it would just get funnier and funnier. And we could all lean into it as a joke. And you could just bring out an orc. If they're like, you call me that, I was like, well, it only applies to these guys, and you pull out a little model figure. I mean, how can you come back from that? It's like fishing. It's like fishing in a way. Someone wants to rattle their saber and then gets a little egg on their face. Let's just do there. This lighter red is already going a little bit, but it has been overnight, so the wet palette did keep it fresh enough to apply. There we go. And I want to do a little bit on the back, but again, don't need to do a lot. This is mostly for my benefit that I put a little bit on there. Just a little bit on there. I could have done the soles of the feet a different colour, but I don't know. I don't think you need to get bogged down so much in those details. Okay, so that leg's very much done. Let's do the other one whilst we're here. I've got a little Evil Sun's already on the palette. We can get the other leg, because there might be some recesses of null oil and water still drying. So maybe going back to the gold this soon is too soon. But I feel like those blending red for me is easy, one of the easier colours. Blues, especially light blues, are really difficult. And bones, I've totally just painted that into the recess there. I just absolutely ruined that detail. I just obliterated it. But what I'll do is I will, with the lighter, try and bring it back up. So even though it's not going to be as dark a recess as before, I still think we can remedy that. Let's just ever so slightly bring this up. But that Blood Angels contrast paint is a nice red. It looks different to how it is before it dries, but it's a nice looking red. I won't deny that fact. It is a nice looking red. Let's just do these bits. Just clean them up a little bit. It definitely does look different than with the null oil. Wait, no null oil went on this red. So why is it looking so... because I did loads of water and it just went all over the show. That's why it looks a little bit different. I'm going to clean up this gold edge here. There we go. No one would know. That's one of the ways I reassure myself. No one would know. I mean, we all saw it in the stream, but I just feel like you can hide a lot of this stuff, and I don't think about it because there's a lot of models littered with mistakes, and I don't look back on nearly just a fraction of these mistakes and think, oh, that's really bad. I never think about them again. So clearly, just forgetting about them is the way to go, and just not bothering to even beat yourself up about it. Because if it happens on a model you're currently painting, you can start to choke, and then you get a little bit intimidated by your model, and then you don't finish it, and it becomes a little bit of a cupboard. I'm going to call it now cupboard casualty, where you just put it away and then you don't crack it out because it beat you up a little bit during the painting. I'm going to call it a cupboard casualty, and that's when, because we've all had that. There's a point in every model for me, it would seem. It's maybe somewhere around the halfway mark, or maybe just before halfway, or maybe once the main colours are blocked in and you're just on highlighting and stuff. But there's definitely a point where I have a crisis, and it either becomes a cupboard casualty or we push through. And what's nice is on the streams, it's really nice to push through because you have people who are helping as well. Like they can help push you through it by suggesting things. So the stream is, there's a lot of red here, there's a lot of white that I've missed. I need to just outright yam some red in there. I don't have enough red on this tray. Right, we've got a few people here who haven't liked. So rather than just asking, I'm going to do something daring. What should I do? I'm going to edge highlight some skulls. Stay with me. One left. Heresy! But the rest of you, hang on, let me earn this. So I need... quickly, table. Don't you concentrate on what you're doing, you son of a bitch. That's Wraith Bone. I don't need that. Oh, it's the one I dropped. It's the one I dropped. Come here, you. Oh, old ass body, don't fail me now. Just pick something off the floor. Oh, it's not the colour. I need the Rakan's... What is it? Rakash flesh or whatever it is. I failed, guys. I'm choking. Earthshade. Oh, here we are. Rakaf flesh. Let's get a little bit of that and do those skulls. I'll do some fancy schmancy edge highlighting for you. And so we discovered this with skulls, and I'm really assured about doing Gene Stealer cultists and Gene Stealers. But you see these skulls down here? They are volupus pink, and then with this Rakaf flesh shade. So let's just do some fancy edge highlighting on these teeny tiny skulls. And if it impresses you, bloody impresses myself, I'll be honest. Only like what? So I think today's our 2-week birthday. Only 2 weeks ago, edge highlighting was way more difficult. But for some reason, look at that little bit there. Did you see that little bit of edge highlighting? Oh, table, you are getting better. But here's the thing as well with edge highlighting. You just keep doing it, and if I can do it, you can do it. Basically, if I'm able to do it, you're able to do it. That's for sure. But for the longest time, I had to force myself. I said, every model have a little bit of edge highlighting, a little bit of freehand. And that's the way to go. 3 people were not impressed with my edge highlighting. That's fine. You're just, you just committed heresy is all. That's just a little bit of heresy. I deliberately started painting these skulls instead to try and impress you. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Maybe I should have just continued with the reds. But right, we've got a little bit by this skull. So we've got the brow here. And then the line above it, above where the eye sockets are. That's going to be the real test. Let's just go in and do that. I'm going to keep talking whilst I do it. I'm amazing at edge highlighting. If I say it is true, hey, yeah, look, we got it. Now the nose and the bottoms of the eye sockets are even more difficult. But then we've got the teeth, and I'm not even going to try. I'm going to try with the teeth. Let's try and do individual teeth. Oh, hey, those teeth look all right. That's not so bad. Yeah, that's all right. Jadav123 is me. Hello. Do you go by a different name? Have I met you before? I only ask that because, you know, I've been on the channel, on the YouTube and stuff for like over 10 years now. So have we met before? I'm just curious because YouTube names tend to differ from Discord names. Let's just get in there and do a little bit of juicy painting. I will go in and edge highlight this with Wraithbone as well. So there's going to be another opportunity to go along those really small lines. And I'm just going to do those as well. Talking seems to help with edge highlighting. At least it does for me. I thought initially that because I realized that I hold my breath when I was edge highlighting and doing little fiddly bits, but now rather than forcing myself to edge highlight, I'm forcing myself to edge highlight while speaking, and it definitely does make things a little bit more risky. But if you can get used to it and make it the norm, then it's no longer something insurmountable. It's no longer an issue. Pink with this color is so satisfying. It's definitely how I'm going to do my Gene Stealer cultists. I haven't met yet. Oh, okay. Well, it's just, you know, common courtesy to leave me a little bit of a like. We're trying to... Oh, hey, on the subject of that, there's been some movement with YouTube and the ad revenue. It's not a big movement, but we have moved in the right direction. on the 15th. It's not a lot, but it's positive movement and some progress. Something happened in reality, not just me thinking that would be nice. So that skull's so satisfying. So these skulls are basically just the bits off the tops of the Terminators from the Chaos Terminator box. That's what they are. And they've all got I need some more paint. Right, unfortunately, this paint is one of those colours that I really like, but it's gone a bit skanky early on. So you can see that it's having some trouble. So I'm going to give it a little blast on the Vortex Mixer and see if I can fix that. So, you'll see you're new. So let's start with the usual questions then. What armies are you collecting, if any? What you're painting at the moment? That's another one, because obviously, you know, this is being a Warhammer stream. Yeah, I'm a little bit curious about that. We've got one person on here who has 65,000 points of Dark Angels. I see no reason to not believe him. I don't know, because he was able to list like what kinds of carry cases and how many models are in each case. But yeah, 65,000 points of Dark Angels. I think it's safe to say that he likes Dark Angels. Let's go around here to these skulls. Yeah, 65,000. I would be hard pressed to get even a coherent force of... What's the entry for 40k? 2,000? I know you can do 500, but apparently it's a bit lackluster doing 500 points. But I don't think, like, painted and based and all done up super nice, I don't think I could get 2,000 points together. Now, there's quite a lot of water on this brush, so I'm going to have to be super careful doing these edge highlights on this skull. But so far... I tell you what, as well, this is my first time with a synthetic brush. So it's just going amazingly. I like synthetic brushes, and another bonus is that not only do they not splay as easily as regular brushes, they bend instead. You can reset them with hot water, but also they're cheaper. So I think that synthetic brushes are my new top tip. I like synthetic brushes. They cater more to my style of painting, evidently. Is that a bit of bone there? Let's treat that as a bit of bone. Let's just go in there and do that bit. Nice opportunity for a couple of edges there when I go in with the Wraith bone, which will be soon. So we didn't finish the other foot, did we? As well. So as long as I keep a mental note of that. But these skulls are lovely. Question is, what should we do about the metal spikes? Should we just do them metallic? And then, should we do them lead belcher, then null oil, and then clean them up with some Moonfang steel? For either Raven Guard, World Eaters, Tau, Eldari, or Tyranids. So you've got your options open. Of all those ones, which would be the best one to get second hand of those ones if you were to break into those? Let me think. Well, I mean, you've got the Christmas Battle Forces, the Xmas Battle Forces coming up either the end of this month or early November. But everyone's going to want those. So that's going to be a bit of a toughie. Where are you in the world? Because that will influence how the second hand market is. You've just hit a pay increase. Games Workshop have upped their prices early in October, so you're going to get hit by that as well. What would be a good... I hear World Eaters, you don't need a whole lot to get started, from what I understand. Australia. Oh, no, you've got one of the worst gigs. Australia's prices are just ridiculous. No, you're in trouble. Yeah, that's one of the worst, if not the worst place to buy Warhammer. Yeah, you have to go second hand. You can't buy... I don't think you even get discount retailers out there. Yeah, I will lament your location. It's a roughie. It's the one of the worst, if not the worst. I'm gonna try and build up a little bit more on these skulls. Excuse me. And then there's one here. There we go. Just do some bits there. And then here. So So yeah, Australia, unfortunate for you. That sucks. I shall lament your. Well, I mean, I don't even know where to begin with Australia. I don't even know what to recommend or anything. So, does anyone have any ideas? I don't. I've got nothing to help. I just feel like Ash from Alien, where I'm just like, I won't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies. Let's get in there and do this brow. Oh, there we go. Delicious. Just the ridge of the nose. Now it's a little bit hidden by a spike, so I wonder if I can get in there and do this. It's a bit fiddly. Oh, it's really fiddly. The angle. I want to try and get an angle, not only a good angle to paint it at, but also a good angle for you to see. I'm going to go in this way. There's a spike right there, so I'm going to try and go in underneath. Oh, I just completely splodged that in. Luckily, no one will know. But the fact that I made the attempt is something, actually. It's all good opportunity for practice. Boop. Inevitably. Hello. Oh. I put white on there. It's another table. There was for a time, a few years back, I think it was Ant. He was pretending to be another one of me, and he was coming on the Discord and impersonating me. So it has happened before. But because my nickname is Table, and I did the double take. Really? How did you get your nickname? How did you get your Table nickname? I bet now it's more exciting than mine. But I'm curious. How did you get your nickname, Table? How you doing? It feels so strange because it's like I'm talking to myself. Table, how'd you get your nickname? Table, answer me. Answer me, Table. You goddamn piece of filth. Answer me right now. Yeah, I mean, Elder are just amazing. Sorry, Eldari, but I will just refer to them as Elder. They're because everyone's so colourful, all the different classes, like Striking Scorpions alone, but then you've got Banshees, you've got the other ones, who's the ones I can't name, and then you've got, you're damn right I'm impatient. Tell me the history of your nickname immediately, sir, or I shall cast you down forthwith. I will hew your legs from out from under you. Ah, K9, hi buddy. We're just talking about nicknames. There's someone else who claims, allegedly, to also have the same nickname as me. So, yeah. Let's have a ruling now. So, if you want, I'll tell my story first, and then you tell your story, and then we can have a little in chat vote on whose story is better. Let me see what you came up with. WDYM. Why do you? Yeah. Why do you yam? Why don't you maim? Why don't you maim? No, I maim all the time. I prefer my enemies to suffer than to kill them outright. So, wherever possible, I'm a big fan of blinding. I like to get a cheeky blinding in, at least once every week or so. Just who's my next nearest enemy? I followed the dwarves with my Book of Grudges. And I like them to see my face just before I take their eyesight. So they have my look of contempt as the last thing they ever see. And they have that burned upon their soul. Just for crossing me. Like maybe, they like brushed my shoulder or said good morning to me when I didn't want someone to say good morning to me. But the Book of Grudges doesn't discriminate. I just feel like a nice metered response. I don't think someone saying good morning, being blinded for that is unfair, frankly. I don't think that we should make it into a thing. Oh, it's just from your Steam name. Okay. All right. My story is a little bit more than that. So you just gave the name to yourself. You gave the name. It would seem. What do you mean? Okay. Why don't you maim is nicer. I was trying to come up with, because I thought like, why do you maim, as in like, why do you put me, why'd you put me down, sort of thing. Why do you maim me conversationally? Yeah, it takes time to. It takes time. It's not real. It's not real impatience. It's not real impatience. I'm just hamming it up for entertaining myself. I'm not actually. Don't worry. I'm just mucking about. I just like to overreact. So for how long have you been in hubby? What's hubby? If you want inevitable, table. If you want table, I will tell you the origin of my nickname. It appeared, before the channel started. So it was probably the year before the channel started. So we're talking 11, 12 years. But I can give you the law accurate bestowing of my name. It wasn't, I didn't assign it to myself. It was bestowed upon me. So you tell me if you want to hear the origin tale. Yeah, these skulls are alright. I could do with a bit more pigment. That's the thing. People just call me Table since I was part of my name. Inevitable. Yeah, okay. When I changed my YouTube name, I wanted to have it Table, so I settled with Inevitable. Oh, Table. Oh, the more refined way of saying Table, Monsieur Table. Monsieur Table. This is just a Chaos Demon Prince. I'm just doing a Corn Army. I don't know what I'm going to use these demons for, but I felt they're very nicely corned, so I might have them as proxy 8-bound, maybe. I don't know. I haven't figured out exactly. I just happen to have these, and we just put it to a little vote. I showed what I had painted, and this just seemed to be the next step. So no real agenda. I think we're going to try and do some weathering at some point. I've got these bits of scenery now that can have graffiti on. So far we've got Piggers and maybe Schmitters is Shitters, or Schmitters was here. I'm not sure which one. I'm going to ask him what you prefer. No, I get you. Okay, so the origin story of Table. We go back many moons ago to when I was traveling. So I would travel and exchange my expertise in woodworking to stay with various people. So I would do I built a barn for someone and I got to stay there. I would build a lot of bars for festivals. So basically you go to the festival, you build the bar, and then you get to stay for the festival, and then afterwards you pack away the bar, and that's it, right? So that's some of the things you do. Now, there was one festival. So we're going to start talking locations in Spain, right? So I was in northern Spain, a tiny little place in the hills, the Pyrenees Mountains, just above a place called Pamplona. Pamplona was the nearest city, but it's not far between Pamplona in the Pyrenees. You could get to San Sebastian relatively easy, but you were up in the mountains, right? And I was there building this barn. And then the opportunity was to go to a festival near Saragossa in Spain, right? Chris Chan. I think I do. It's the guy, from my understanding, he was being a bit of a naughty boy with his sister. Is that right? And I know he's in a Virginia prison. Someone said, I sound like him. And I was like, oh, no. Now, D&D gets recommended to me a lot. I might paint a D&D character. I am considering painting a D&D character. Is Chris Chan the guy who's shocking his dog? The guy, I've just been watching about a guy who likes to electrocute dogs. And he just seems like a psycho. Is that Chris Chan? Is the dog shocker guy that Chris guy? Am I getting mixed up here? I'll wait for chat. What I like doing is that I've totally forgotten my place with these skulls, and I'm just adding more to some of them than I need to. There's one there, and there's one just in here, and there's a bit of face that can be done. There we go. I felt it fitting just to slap everyone. He's free. It was his dementia-riddled mum. He was held in jail awaiting trial for a period and max sentence possible for his charge was so released. Hang on. Are you telling me that he was a naughty boy with his mum with dementia? Is that what he did? If that's what he did, that is absolutely grotesque. Why get out if that's what he did? That's your mum. Hey, table! I didn't finish the story. Go on, you get out of here. You will never know the origin of the story. You will never know it now. Get out of here, you imposter. You fraud. Be gone from this place. Never beckon my doorway again. No story for you, table imposter. Table 2, second table. Least nice table. But I feel like I might have berated him a little bit too much. I was just trying to have a bit of fun, but I mean, it could have been misconstrued as mean, but I was just trying to have a little laugh. Yeah, no story for you, sir. Chaos cultists. Oh, you painted chaos cultists to look like him. Well, I mean, they're chaos cultists. Oh, that was Discord. I have to go over there and alt-tab Discord because it wouldn't have made the sound if I had it open. So I just want to go see because people like to post in there and I can see from where I'm sitting. So those skulls are ready for edge highlights. Oh, hello. I know this one's done. Yeah, we're all up to speed there with the skulls. I need to think about what chapters to do these Space Marine heads. I want them to stand out. So, let's. I feel a bit bad about treating Table 2 the way I did. I was just trying to have fun. Maybe if I knew him better. I hope he didn't leave because I was... I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he got what I was trying to do. Let's check the old Discord. Where are we? Yeah. Oh, pictures! Oh, hey! Look at that! I don't even know what figure that is. Oh god, that Chaos Cultist is horrifying. I like the, well, I like a few bits. I like the face especially. Who is that guy with the... Who is that guy in the armour with the 2 lions as a cape? Who is that guy? Is that a D&D model? Yeah, don't worry, Dark. You know, it's all early days. It's not it's all early days. I'm gonna edge highlight those skulls. I feel like I'm onto something there. I feel like we should just do those. Edge highlight as we go. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go Wraithbone now and just pick out the little bits and bobs. Actually, Dark. Yeah, you are. You're number 6. So we actually had a draw yesterday. And unfortunately, Dark, you didn't win. Schmidt has actually won and then gave up his prize. What a little lovely that he is. This Wraithbone's going bad as well. Why do Games Workshop paints do this? Why do they go like that? What is it about the pigment? And, well, actually, I say, why do Games Workshop paints do this? Maybe light paints in general do this, you know? Maybe they do. Maybe they all go a bit squiffy. It's, interior model meant to look like Lionel Johnson. Ah, okay. Well, hang on, let's have a look. Let's do a comparison. I happen to have him up here. I think he would pass for him. I think he would pass for him. This is my first Primarch. And I was a little bit intimidated by him, but now I think the issue I'm going to have is the cloak. But it's already got some detail on, so maybe I could... He's on the list. But maybe not more than one big character at a time. Maybe. Right, let's get the old edge highlightings going. So we got a little bit spread out with what to do, but I'm going to go with the skulls. So let's just do some fancy edge highlighting here. I'm just gonna just ever so slight, just the teeniest, tiniest bits, just ever so slightly around each eye socket. I feel like less is more, so let's not go too crazy with it. There's just a little bit in there, and then there's a nice little, do you know what, I could do a little bit more on that actually. I want it to jump out a little bit, so let's just go along the brow here like so, and I'm going to do the little ridge as well. So just teeniest bit of paint there. It really does help it stand out. Now there's a crack in this guy's skull, so let's go in and just put a little bit around that like so, and then a bit here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow that whole round and try and get a little bit in there. Let's see if I can nail this. Oop. There we go. That actually worked out. Yeah, you started streaming again the second I got into bed. Yeah, I mean, I've been going great guns with the streaming. I've really, because I'm impatient, and I found myself, I don't need much convincing to come onto the streams. I've really been, what happens is, right, you get this super self-conscious, crazy awkwardness initially, and I think that's what destroys the vast majority of streamers from continuing, because it feels almost like you have to force yourself to go on. But then one of my goals was to eliminate that feeling, and so even if the day before went awfully, I would force myself to get on, and it didn't take too long before it actually switched from thinking, oh god, I got to go on, no one's going to watch, I'm going to choke, it's going to be horrible, to just being like, I want to go on. It didn't take long for the shift to occur, and I think it's because I did concentrate. I didn't just do multiple long streams. I had to get on multiple times, and something clicked. I think it definitely helps that I'm doing something that I really like. The amount of stuff I've been painting is just the most I've ever done. You said when you're back, so I was holding out to see when you'd be back. I was falling asleep in my chair for about 40 hours of consciousness. Oh my. Arcanine, I feel like if you just concentrate it, you pass. Because like the process is, because when you, I mean, like, because it's been concentrated, it's really, we've made so much progress so fast. And again, it's not a lofty goal. You just want that between 0 and 3 active in chat, and you're golden. And the time just passes really pleasantly. You come off feeling good. And that's initially all you need. That's a big dollop of Wraith Bone there. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. Lay down stream side. So, well, I don't want to keep you up, Dark, but it is nice that you've come on. I do appreciate that. There are some prizes available. So we do have more prizes. I can tell you through them, but there's now 6 draws. There's not 2 draws anymore. There's now 6, and the prizes are already set up and ready to go. I have added the caveat that if I sell them on table trades, then they go away. But of the 6 prizes, only 2 of them are listed. So a lot of those prizes are still up for grabs. So yeah, there's that, which I think is lovely. I was talking about it. I got super excited about it, but then today I've been super excited about scenery, because we had the idea of not only putting names of people on certain models so that when they're used in game I could be like Smitters the Gene Stealer, just 8 ant, but also named graffiti on wall prizes. Jav, there are prizes. So there's 2 sets of draws. There's Tactical Cheese Protocol draws, and then there's viewer based draws. So what I will do is I'll try and talk to you whilst doing the edge highlights. So I'll just show you the first prizes. Okay, so one prize is this goodie bag of bits. There's a Rattling Sniper, Chaos Sorcerer, Skink Priest, 2 Termagants, some resin Orc Samurai pieces. Looks like 2 or 3 component parts to make a Samurai Orc. There's a little Gretchen with grenades and a jetpack. And a Rattling Sniper, if I haven't already said it. That's that current one, right? That's prize bag 1. That's free. If anyone donates free tree titty to the chat to help the algorithm get going, I will post that out to them in the EU and the US if it's not too expensive. I will cover the postage. That's prize number 1. Next prize for Tactical Cheese is this guy. He's quite heavy, so he might not be US, but he's the first McFarlane Marine that they released. That's who he is. He's pretty delicious. So that's Tactical Cheese number 2. Tactical Cheese number 3 is this World of Tanks 1 in 72 scale Cromwell tank. And you get some extra experience bonuses and a free garage if you play World of Tanks. That's Tactical Cheese number 3. The next one, for 30 viewers watching the stream at any one point, this will release in the draw. And it's a Terminator Captain, and that's for 30 people live on the stream. If you want to get involved, though, you have to be on this list up here. There's currently only 8 people for the draws. So you've currently got a 1 in 9, if you add your name, to winning the draw. I don't know of a giveaway where the odds are so good, frankly. And that's if there's 30 people on the stream. If it gets to 55, we are giving away, or I am giving away, an Arachne quad accelerator platform from the Saturnine box set, which is a €55 model. And that's for 55 people consistently. So if they're on, I will give that away. And if we get to 90, it's going to be the big one. It's the Saturnine Dreadnought. So that will be the one I give away. And then after that, it may be the Chaos Dreadhold that on eBay is worth $370. But that will be for less viewers, not 370 viewers. It might be a target for 150. Or I might just keep it. So they're the 2 types of draws that we've got. Let's have a look. Key prizes, yeah, prizes explained. Also regarding the Lion model, to be fair, intimidated by the cape, but that is one of the best capes to paint. Okay. Well, that's reassuring if I'm going to go for a cape. If in a perfect world, right, I would have preferred to have gone Guilliman's as my first Primarch, but as I buy what I can get my hands on cheap, that's the problem. You might not be able to ship to Australia. There's no way I can get the prizes to Australia. However, what you could do, Jav, if you wanted to, is you could still enter the draws, and then if there's someone in the chat that you particularly get on with who happens to be in the EU, you could give it to them. So you could still enter and then just do a nice thing for someone else. It'd be like passing the nice stuff forward. You know? You could do that. It's possible. But yeah, so I think but then I thought, well, if I've got Lion first, maybe if I just buy the plastic model Primarchs in the order that they were found. Although, was the Dark Angels found first or last? Horus was first, wasn't he? Oh, I'm not so sure that works. Hey, Malco. He is amazing. I'm sort of regretting not gluing his head on, because but heads are a real challenge. That's terrible edge highlighting there, what I've done. I don't know. I think I'm getting a little bit sidetracked talking about all the prizes. But, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think those prizes are bloody good. And they're not like... They're my prizes. Like, I want to keep them. I don't want to give them away. But at the same time, if we don't make it more juicy on here, people aren't going to watch. So we need some juice. Yeah, thanks, Doug. Is that the one you went for as well? And also, do you have any photos? Thanks, RK9. Appreciate that. I think they're good prizes. And the issue is that, well, it's not even an issue. For those 8 people on the draw list, it's like the golden times, you know? Because 1 in 8 chance. 1 in 8. I mean, that's just delicious, frankly. Let's just pop a little bit of highlights on there. I'm kind of getting a little bit sidetracked with these skull highlights now. I think I'm just going to kind of because the paint on the brush is getting a little bit dry. I think I'm just going to speed it up with just some little bits here and there. I think concept approved. I think it works really well as a skull. But I just want to move on now past these bits, because these skulls, you're not really going to see them. So I'm just going to do a dab like that, just generally. I think I could have done that anyway, but I wanted to do some edge highlighting. There we go. Sorted. Yeah, I like them. Okay, so we've got the red on one foot done. Let's do the red on the other foot. Here's a relatively okay brush. No. I need a relatively okay brush. There we go, there's one. It's the one I would go for. Ah, sorry, Dark. Yeah, but you know, I read things wrong. Sadly, I only have a very similar version, reduced size. Basically, to get the cape, edge highlights, but I'd argue for point stands. Yeah, no, I think it does. I think it totally stands. I think it's legit. I don't think there's anything wrong with your reasoning. I think it's totally fine. Yeah, but I think okay. So we've talked about what I consider the easiest. Malako, you just have joined. That's it. You've just joined. Let's just Where are you based? Where in the world are you? Because at the moment, EU is definite, UK possible, US possible, but the issue is that you are number 9, Malko, from now until forever. If we never hear from you again, maybe your name gets scrubbed, but for now you are golden. Malako. Sounds Spanish. CCO. There we go. You're on. You're number 9. That is forever your number. Ish. Germany, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. So yeah. So that's it. So there's with the tactical cheese draws, all it takes is a donation of we decided in chat yesterday that it's tree tiddy, so we can say tree tiddy all the time. So if someone gives tree tiddy, a draw happens immediately. All you've got to do is be in the stream to claim your prize. And if you do win and you're not here, then you've got a whole 5 minutes to try and come and claim it. And if you don't, it draws again, and we keep giving it until someone gets it. That's what we do. That's the plan. But obviously, this is for the smaller prizes. But the biggest juicy prizes will be. We have to have the viewers. If the people aren't on, if we're not hitting that viewer count, I'm not going to give them away because they are really nice prizes. So, but yeah, so that's the thing. And I'll even cover the postage. Germany, I will even cover the postage. Isn't that nice? I think it's bloody nice. Bloody nice. Show me a streamer who isn't already established doing such things. Yes, is it a little bit retarded? Could be. I could be. My wife says I am. She tells me to keep going to the doctors and get checked up. But it's also fun. So, you know, that's my counterpoint. Yeah, so let's have a bit of fun, basically. A little bit of red, little bit of red. The red is really easy to blend. I was going to say that Angron was one of the more intimidating Primarchs. However, with how well red goes on, maybe he's not. He's just big. His wings, the detail on the wings, the bits of skin between the... the overall goal is that I'm working toward playing every game system. And that I will... finally play the games, and I don't mind what version I'm playing. I'm kind of working towards all of them. Some of them are more ahead than others. At the moment, the front runners appear to be Kill Team and Necromunda, High Secundus, but I'm not adverse against any game system. But the idea is that I sit down, set up a board, do the live stream, and we actually play a game. In a perfect world, the models will be painted. I'd have a nice amount of terrain, and each player on the board of that Necromunda first match is named after someone in the stream, so I can laugh when someone gets obliterated by someone else. I like the idea of that, and then we can have a nice little gag of, hey, do you remember that time friggin' and 8 Dark's face off in the catacombs, or when Master cast a spell and eviscerated Schmitters. You know, I like that kind of narrative. Trench Crusade, I love the idea of it, the premise, but it's resin, isn't it? It's resin models, so for that reason alone, I'm out. But I love the premise of it. I like it a lot. But it's resin, so I can't do it. I'm going to be a little bit more liberal with this coating, I think. There's a little dot there. But does that answer the question? I think it does. Spearhead, Age of Sigmar's like equivalent of boarding actions, right? Boarding actions I'd really like to play, but that is quite far down the list. But I like the idea of ship combat. I might throw in a rule where if you fire a scatter weapon and it scatters onto the wall of the exterior of the board, you get a hull breach, and then like every figure is moved 2d6 towards the hull before the auto sealant shuts on, and so it could really turn into a horrible close combat battle with an accidental hull breach. I'd probably throw in rules like that. I like that. And human characters, I'd halve their leadership, because there's some real absolute nightmare fuel things in 40k, and I don't think people would hold up as well as they do. I think they just want to run away. I'd like to represent that more than on the tabletop, the absolute poop your pants can't move element of the game. So I would probably throw in little rules like that. So that leg's fine. I've got a lot more red, so I might as well do the tail. And then we can do... Well, we don't even need to do edge highlights on this one. This one is actually just fine as it is. But we can just block out these tail bits. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. The goal is to have a game of Necromunda next week. That's what I'd like to do. But I got to get some gluing done, and I'm not sure about gluing. I'm not sure it would be popular on the stream. And so what I would like to do is get them all glued and base coated at least, and then we could probably start assigning names to them during the game. Thanks. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's definitely mix orange into your reds. That's the way to go. It's not about using white because you get a pink, but if you put an orange in, it's a nice little discovery, that. So yeah, it's rather good. And it's subtle as well, which is nice. And so I like my models to shout, but I feel like the gold will do that. Like if you look at the shoulder, I feel like that really shouts out. So I don't necessarily need to... I haven't done the eyes. You don't necessarily need to worry too much about the reds. It's just a nice snacky bit to have, I think. But yeah, Necromunda next week, I'm thinking. As long as something looks quite bright, I'm not against muck and grimdark painting styles. I'm not against it at all. The only reason I'm trying to move away from it is that I can do dark easily, and I'm trying to improve. And for me personally, painting bright is really difficult. So the reason I've been trying to move to painting brighter is because I find it so absolutely ball-bustingly difficult. So I'm trying to get better on that one. The games, yeah, for sure. I'm definitely going to stream the games. Yeah, I've even been thinking about where I could set up the board. If I move my old computer out the way, there's some table space there, and I could just set it up there. I don't really want to pack all this away because this space is pretty lovely. I don't really want to pack up this space to play, but I mean, arguably I could move a load of bits, but I don't know. But I'm definitely going to stream it. It's going to be a lot of me reading rules and not understanding it. But I think it will be fun. And if I don't do it, I'm never going to play. So I have to do it, because otherwise the alternative is never to play. But I want to... But I'm not so much keen on just winning. I like more building a narrative. You're not going to see me talking about meta and going for gold and doing anything I can to possibly get there. Yeah, exactly. And I figured that would be useful as well as like panning around the board. If there's a certain fight, I can just move the phone a little bit. So I think it's possible that it could work out. My concern is that if it's not the game system people play, they don't want to watch. But then again, I want to do it, so I'm sure the people who want to tune in will tune in. You know, I don't think we're at the point where people tune in for me. I think people tune in to see Warhammer being painted. But you never know. It might get to the point where people, it's more like, I don't know this game system, but I'd like to see table playing this game system. I don't think we're there, but it's not to say it's impossible that it could happen. You know, it's possible. It's not unheard of that people might do that. Like, and then they could be like, well, Jesus, if this guy can figure out this, and he's clearly making a mess of it, but he's getting there, he's stumbling through, then maybe I should pick myself up a copy and have some fun with it as well. I like the idea of, so the reason Typhon and Secundus is largely the same. One, they've both got Tyranids, but then the other side for Typhon is servitors, no doubt looking for tech. And in Secundus, it's the Van Saar people who are also rummaging around in the dark looking for tech. And those two ideas of treasure hunting and Tyranids really appeal. So that's why I've gone for those ones. Well, Arcanine, I think we could. I'm hoping that it's the same as what we've done with the painting. Like, remember the killer can? And like we kind of muddled through, and between the two of us we figured it out and we got a result. I feel like it's the same for the rules. I feel like we will be in the same situation where we'll get a bit stuck, but then one of us will potentially clarify it for the other person. And then it won't be so boring figuring out the rules than if you were just sitting looking at a book on your own. You won't get stuck so much, I think. And I think it would be fun. Yeah, me too. Like I say, I've already opened it. I've got these panels base coated already, so we can do graffiti. Oh, look, someone cleaned up the mold line, even on the bottom. Good boy, table. Good boy cleaning up your mold lines. I don't like mold lines, but I think cleaning off the bottom one was excessive. But I wanted it to fit flat on a surface. So, but the other thing as well with Secundus is because it's in the deep depths, you only get a few wall pieces, and mostly it's a flat board. But you can then start adding walls, and you could get a real little grotty dungeon with horrible monsters going on. I think that would be pretty delicious. So I'm running a little bit out of red, but I don't need to worry too much about the bottom of this tail. I will put some more on the palette. I think it will be fun. I think it will be good fun. Definitely good fun. But as long as we can keep it juicy or spicy, whichever one you prefer, so that people are interested in joining as well. And, you know, I think the giveaways is a nice touch. I think that's good. I think we could... it's available, and I think if that caught on, we might have enough people on to do them. But already seeing some movement in the ad revenue. Not a lot, but it's moving in the right direction. So maybe, you know, I can't get my hopes up just yet. I feel like we just need to keep plugging away at it, and that we should already be thankful for the progress that's already been made. It's not like every time I've been on here, it's been no one. So I think being eternally grateful for that. And you know what I'm going to say now, don't you? Arcanine. You know what I'm going to say? Eternally grateful for you being around at the very beginning. I think as long as you never forget that, I think you can't go too far wrong. If you just keep being humble. Yeah, steady progress. Steady progress, concentrate. You know, like, yeah, sure, make progress, but also keep up the momentum. I like momentum. So, and I think that's the biggest concern, that if I lose momentum, I lose interest. So I have to keep adding things, trying to refine things, doing things differently, adding things, more things, because the momentum is what entertains me. So I think that's the worst thing that could happen. If I don't have whatever my janky brain considers momentum, then that's where we get into some real dangerous territory. Because if I lose interest, then the whole thing falls on its face, doesn't it? So momentum is what I like. I like momentum. That tail's absolutely beautiful. It's going to edge highlight, so nice. Speaking of which, we are now on edge highlighting. So let's crack out a bit of... What I'm going to do is, now that I'm done with that red for now, I'm going to add some orange straight to that. and then we can edge highlight that up. And then we've got both legs done, some skulls, and and what do you call it? We could do a little work on the base as well. But I like with the bigger models painting this way. You don't have to. I could have blocked it. I could have blocked this whole thing out and just done it all in one go and done all the reds and all the whats and whatnot. But what I like to do is work out from an area that I've done and then kind of continue along other painted areas. And yeah, I could have gone across and done all the shoulders, but I thought I'd do one side to try and just, you know, have some part of it done to look at and be like, oh yeah, that will look lovely. I've noticed in here there's a little white sliver in there, just in there, but I don't think I can get it easily without going on the gold. However, if I don't do it, it will never get covered. So let's give it a go. Let's just go in there with this orangey red. So that one was fine, but this one is right under that already painted shoulder. I think I can get it. If I just go in at this angle, I think I can just about squidge a brush in there. Oh, it's really in there. Oh, bugger. I got the... Okay, I'm going to commit now. Now that I've got a bit of paint on the shield. Right, I've covered the splodge. I'm going to whack on some water and get that orange off of the beautiful shoulder pad right now. So let's just eat and wipe, eat and wipe. So just more water. Wipe it off. That's a lot of water. Just wipe that off. It's all on the bottom. But I need to get in there and do that. I'm just going to pull it off camera for a second. It's a little bit of a crisis point. Now I've only got my t-shirt to dab that off with, so I've got to try and now squeeze some t-shirt in there. Okay, looks like, oh my god, it's way worse than I thought. I need more water. I need more water. Let's get it on camera. So it's going in the teeth as well, so I just have to keep adding water. There we go, it's coming off now. It's not so orange, but the underside as well is where the real problem is, under here. So again, just loads of water. Just get that out of there as much as possible. Okay, let's try. Just dabbing that off. So there's a little bit of orange red, but it's not so bad. The bottom plate, hang on, there's some more dabbing to be done. Okay, we're okay. I'll show you it now. We're okay. So you can see under there that it's a little bit orangey, but not enough that you would notice. And the teeth, there's a little bit of orange on there, a little bit, but not a huge amount. Not enough that I think it will be noticeable when it dries. So we're okay. That was a lot of commitment to get a bit that you couldn't really see. But hey, well, we had to do it. Let's just check Discord. Oh yeah, I've got pictures of the double lion guy. Right, let's do some highlights. So both feet done, we're on tail. And what we can do is we can just get a little bit of highlight down under here. We're just going to go in here and we're going to do a tiny bit on the butt cheeks. There we go, a little bit on there. Just ever so slightly on the butt cheeks. 1 and 2. And then as promised, just a little tiny bit of flare on the scrot. There we go. And then now we need to never look at that again. That's all done under there. We don't need to go under there anymore. And then here we've just got some lines that I'm just gonna, with the bigger brush. Again, I don't feel we need to be too cautious under here. There's not a whole lot. And then tail. So let's just go. We're going to go all the way along this ridge. I realised something as well when I was nodding off last night, that there's different levels of difficulty when it comes to edge highlight. Like the one I'm doing where you can just go sideways on the brush and go along like this. I would say that this is like entry level edge highlight, because it's such an easy edge to do right. Like you don't have to concentrate particularly hard and you can just go along that ridge and you get a nice clean line. It's not difficult, but I think the most difficult is when you've got two lines together and in very close proximity. That's the toughie, because you can't do what I just did. You have to go in from the side. So let's just just a tiny bit. Oh, I just dabbed that in the recess. Oh well. Let's just go along each edge. Again, don't feel the need to be super accurate. Each spine can get a little bit on, but it's really easy to do. Just cake a little bit to bring those points out. Now these ones on the tail, you have to be a little bit careful. These ones are deceptive, these lines, because they're raised, but they're also very close to a flat surface, so they are actually quite difficult. But then this edge here is not so difficult. There we go, just like that. Yeah, I think a lot of it is time on court, really. I think it's just a case of spending the time and you will just improve. I think that it accidentally stumbled across making a point of talking whilst edge highlighting is good, because it's almost like you kind of detach yourself a little bit from the painting, and I think that in turn stops you from overthinking it, and so you can actually do it. There's definitely something in that you can. I think it's the same reason why before coming on the streams, when I would paint, I put on a movie so that you can kind of distract yourself a little bit. But streaming and talking is better for distracting yourself than just a movie, because also you don't look up too much. Yeah, oh, I've completely painted that. That's fine. Because I look at the chat, but I spend more time with eyes on model, if that makes sense. The Krieg Battle Force that's coming out is really tasty. In my opinion, the Krieg Battle Force, the Votan Battle Force, because I don't have any Votan, so everything in the Battle Force is what I like, and I really like the Votan mole mortars, and I really like the Berserkers. But also they've also released, not in the box set, not in the Battle Force, but they've got these hunky chunky robot men with big guns. And I really like those ones. There's 3 in a box. I forget their name. They're relatively new release, but yeah. But then the Krieg, the artillery, all the gun emplacements, every guardsman has a mask on, so you don't have to worry about painting faces. They are delicious, but they're just a little bit too elite for my taste. I want them to be, I want my guardsmen a little bit more cowardly. I'm not even worrying too much about this. I think I'll just run the brush along. Not quite a dry brush, but at the same time, I think this tail is so angles orientated that you can just get away with doing it like this. I think I'm all right with that. It's subtle. It's not like the edge highlights are going to jump out on you, but I still think it's good. I'll just maybe a little bit more under here. I'm running out of paint now, so but just ever so slightly underneath. But not bad for starting yesterday, frankly. Not bad at all. Right, yeah, I would say tail. I'm happy with the tail. Yeah, so we've got the feet done, the tail done, we've got the skulls. What I will do is I will put on some ink. I think I'm going to, not null oil, I'm going to Reichland Flesh Shade. For those of you who didn't know, I put null oil on as the starting ink. Krieg got outliers in the whole Guards army, to be fair. Well, I mean, they're very effective. They're gorgeous models, don't get me wrong. They are absolutely gorgeous models. I would totally collect Krieg, but they're not my first choice. What it would be is, if I was buying the Battle Forces, it would be Tyranids first, because I can always have more Neuro Tyrants and Screamer Killers, because I consider them better than... I don't like the hunched over previous Carnifexes. I think using Screamer Killers is better. It just stands a little straighter. And then you get the other 3 big bads in the Tyranid Battle Force, and none of them I have. So that's definitely number 1. And then it's number 2 spot between Krieg and Votan. I'm not sure who exactly wins it outright. It's a tough one to call. Right, Reichland, where are we? Agrax. Reichland. Where are we, Reichland? Ah, there you are. Reichland Flesh Shade. But yeah, it's I mean, I don't need to buy them. Like, I have like loads. And let's just say the channel does do really well, and I start getting sent models to paint. You know, I don't need to necessarily buy more. That's the dream, really. When, if it ever happened, if Games Workshop was sending me stuff, and if I said explain to them the same thing to me, I said, look, I'm trying to get any one of your game systems off the ground for streamed matches, and I also really like terrain. And if they sent stuff like that, then that would be the dream, wouldn't it? That's when we know things are good, surely, if that's happening. So that's kind of like the big goal. It would be a beautiful day indeed if that happened. I think we could all have a nice, jolly good chuckle at that fact. And then even better if they supplied stuff for giveaways. Could you imagine that? Oh, just think how like carried away we could get with it. It would be just... yeah, if we could get carried away with it, and then what it would be is that this place would be a place where you could be like, you know what, I'll go on there. It's pretty good odds that I can get myself something through the draws. Oh, could you imagine? I think that'd be delicious. I think poor ass me from the past would really like that. So that's the dream, guys. And who knows, if I just keep grinding away, it's not impossible, especially if it's 20 people on the live stream for the... Hey, that's another positive. Remember what Francois said? So he said, even the biggest painting channels have 20 people watching concurrently, right? So in theory, if we're going bigger than that, wouldn't... Because those channels no doubt get sponsors, get GW's attention, so... Oh, I'm salivating at the prospect. It's possible, guys. I feel like it's possible. Just found out my mum threw out the army I've been collecting for 6 years. Not even mad at her, just sad about the money. Well, here's the fun trip home. Came here just to get the army. What on earth? Can we get a bit of context on what you just said? Because that's... Why? What on earth possessed Mama to throw the stuff out? Evidently, she's not aware of just how much that stuff costs. What? Yeah, give us some context on that story. I don't understand why Mum would do that. What's going on? Have you been away for years? What's going on? Did they want to use the room for something and they just tidied it out? That's awful. Reichland, in you go. Oh, we've got some more skulls on here. Hey, yeah, look, fantastic. We've got more skulls that we can do the purple on, so they can match with the base. That's good. I forgot about those. So that's pretty cool. What's also nice is that this Reichland covers up that seam where the gold has bled onto the flesh. I think Dark's right. I think that's where it might be. I don't think it was a malicious act. I think it was just Mum's not informed that it's not just a kid's thing. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, whenever my wife tries to sort through and throw out the kids' toys, I say it has to go through me first. Just in case. Took up space, threw out my books, my comics, everything. I've been gone for 3 months for work. That's rough. That's really rough, because that's your childhood memories, you know? And when you're old and grey, you might want those visual aids to remind you of times when everything didn't hurt, you know, and your memory's not so good, but you can pick up and hold an object. So much of my memory is linked to objects that I'll pick up an object and it will just transport me back to the moment. Naughty Mum. That is not... It's not good. Like, 3 months. It's kind of awful. Yeah, because you can't get the time back from assembling them. That is... Yeah, that is awful. Can I ask what the army was? Or is it too soon? You don't have to talk about it, man. We don't have to. But I just figured I could ask as you brought it up. But we don't have to, if it's just rubbing salt in the wounds. There's a little bit of not gold under here. There we go. Okay, so belt, tail, yep. Both legs. They're ready for edge highlighting. There's a little bit on this chin gold that needs doing. And what I might do is I might just apply some to this beard as well, because it's a little bit too light for my taste. So I might just pop a little bit. Well, that's a little bit more than a little bit, but I think that will be fine. And then we highlight with what was it, Tau Ochre, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't regret the decision. I think that works. So that's beard as well. White Scar Bike Army. Why does that sound like Forge World? That's not good. That sounds like Forge World stuff. Jeez Louise. Well, if you're okay with it, I mean, it depends how long it... No, it doesn't depend how long it's sat there. She should have asked. She could have just asked. That skull is just a little bit too silver for my taste. Let's just bring that down a bit. Maybe I can touch it up. Okay. So that ink's got to dry. Let's do the base. Might as well do it whilst we're here. We might need to let this base dry a tad. Graffiti-wise... How should we do this graffiti? How do we figure out who goes on graffiti? Because we're going to try and learn weathering. I figure that I'll just do this edge universal silver effect of some sort so that they link together just fine. But we've definitely got a lot of space for graffiti. I've got some masking tape as well, so we can do some stuff with that. I might do like a line. I might do 2-tier walls. I might do like a line here somewhere where it's just been sprayed. Like 1/3 up, and do one colour one side, one colour other side, maybe. Yeah, I think there's something we can do with that. Don't know what, but there's definitely something there, something fun. Let me just check these messages. Okay. It's rough, Dark. Yeah, it's rough. It's yeah, it's a toughie. That's a tough thing to happen. There's no water in Australia. What you on about, Jav? You're talking nonsense. There's no water there. Right. Blood Angels Red. Where are we? There we go. Maybe it's not a case of replacing it, or maybe it is. It's yeah, it's a rough spot to be in. So with these bases, I'm just putting on blood red ink. I figure it's blood. And if some of the skulls get a little bit of blood on, then so be it. But I don't know. I think as it's corn, I think it's fitting to do the bases like this. Plus, I think it kind of blurs the line between the flesh of the character and the base as well, which I kind of like. Sometimes I like the bases to stand out, but I think on this particular example, I just want it to be a lot of gore, a lot of red. Plus, I didn't know what colour to go with, so this was just convenient. I got a couple of bottles of this stuff on a table trade thrown in, so I was like, well, I want to use it for something. Getting in that recess might be a bit difficult with a brush this size, so I might have to change it up a little bit. Maybe. Let's see. Let's just go all the way around here as well. So yeah, some skulls have got a little bit on, but I'm willing to sacrifice some edge highlighting. It was still good practice. So let's just get in there. And of course, like where the purples and the pinks and the reds have gone on models, I won't paint those bits. I will just, let's see if I can just cram that in there. I will just leave it on them. Okay, so we've got this little minefield in the middle here. I'm going to try going in from this angle, but I'm going to change the brush. Otherwise, I will just dab the bottom of that cloak. And if we can avoid it, then I will. But I'm just going to try and come in at this angle and just try and go in there. There's a little bit of red on that talon that's not been done. And there's a little bit of red there that I'm going to just fill in. So we can get in that bit just fine. I'm going to put in a little bit more of a splodge and then push it round. Let's just go in here, and what I'll do is I'll just turn it and see if we can then come in at this angle and just get in there. I don't want to cover that skull too much because he looks pretty cool, and then we can just come in at this angle and finish it off. Hopefully just push the excess that we have already put in there into that slot without getting the rest of the model, and we've achieved it. So yeah, we got in there. There we go, that's some gore. And now it's kind of done us a favour, because anything red that got covered, we can leave it red. Yeah, so with the chaos stuff, I just fell into it because for the most part I buy what I can get secondhand for cheap, and this demon wasn't even, it was just included in the box of the stuff that I wanted. What I wanted was the Chaos Terminators, but this just happened to be included. So what's really nice is I didn't assemble this guy, didn't have any say in that, and had no intention of painting him until the stream. So it's just really nice that I now have this much of a demon going on. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty pleased. So we've done the red of the base, we've done the armor, we need to wait for those to dry. The skulls aren't normal though. I've thrown all those extra skulls on, and those Space Marine heads, I've done those. But there's some really nice Chaos Demon stuff out there. If I could buy models, the Greater Demons, the Zeech Greater Demon, Anchron the Everchosen for Age of Sigmar, he's a bonkers sized model, absolutely crazy sized model, but I would say, yeah, the Zeech Demon. I would like to get the 4. The Cronus, Khorne, Slanesh, Nurgle and Zeech. And it would be the Zeech one first. I like Zeech stuff because I like the idea of ever changing. And then you can really go bright with the colours and have all kinds of like crazy colours on the things. So much so that you can even paint. In my theory is that with Zeech stuff, you can paint them so that they're hard on the eye colours wise. Because how often does it get referenced in books in Warhammer when someone like looks on Chaos or says a Chaos word or is exposed to something, it makes them feel a little nauseous, or there's an issue with they can't quite focus on it, or it's jarring in some way. You know, so I really like the idea of Zeech because of that. Let's see what's going on with this guy. So he's highlighted the lapels. Oh, I might still have some red. Let's see if I got some brighter red here. Any there? I only need a smidge. Let's see if there's some left over. We can just touch up these bits in here. Let's just up that a little bit. Just a little bit of red on that. I want to say lapel. I think it's lapel. This is my first Votan guy. It was a free mini of the month a while back. Oh, I got a little orange on that bit. I might just try and get rid of that a little bit. I can go fix that later when we decide what that what even is that little middle bit. I don't think it's going to be orange. I think that's for sure. Just do these 2 bits and then ever so slightly this bit of lapel. I know they're buttons, but they can just be red as well. There we go, just a little bit in there for him. Why I like Votan is because I bought someone's old collection of Rogue Trader and White Dwarf stuffs, and there's rules for Rogue Trader, which is, you know, 40k version 1, and in there's a lot of what were called at the time squats, and basically Votan is a refreshed squats line, but things like the Mole Mortar and the Halfkin, they're in the Rogue Trader rules. So I kind of like using the new Votan models, which I prefer, with the Rogue Trader rules. That was kind of the thing. So, but I like greedy dwarves and I like robots. So, and they've got both of them. And I've got a load of what they're called, Caradan Overlords. So I'm going to press gang them into the army. So if I do it that way, so basically if I buy 1 box of Votan troops, I spread those over amongst 3 squads, and I've just proxied in and increased the numbers of Votan that I have. Because why can't they look dwarven? Because I might not use them in Age of Sigmar. I might never get round to it. Age of Sigmar is like one of the last place for game systems that I'm going to get to play. So there's that possibility. So waiting on the inks. Did this little thing. I'm not sure what to do with this guy. I feel like he's done, but I can't find my it's not tactical, the texture. I've got the Armageddon Dust, but I can't find the red one. So he's ready to go. I know he doesn't look great, but he's a really old model, and I don't necessarily want to fix him. You can see that I've just gone for Brazen Brass and Null Oil. He's got dust all over him. I just wanted to do the base, but this guy serves as like how my skill level was at this point, and this point was earlier in the year, or maybe late last year. But I think I redid the shield, but Well, I added a white stripe. It's not exactly redid. But I think he's perfectly fine, but it took me absolutely forever to do. Absolutely forever. This guy's got me beat currently. I'm stuck with this guy. I don't know where to go with him, and he's been sitting idle. And to a lesser extent, this guy's kind of beating me up as well. This guy's beating. He's winning at the moment. I'm a bit stuck with him. Maybe I need to sit down and just do those two and just focus on those two alone. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong. You know what? I'm going to put some Bugmans on my ogres. So I've got my ogre color theme sorted out. Here's my ogre color theme. So that's what they're going to look like. Very pleased with those. So I think I'll do some ogre bits. I've got 1, 2, and there's a third over there. Can we kick around ideas for how to do this graffiti and how to get people named on bases? Should we just, if anyone asks, just do it that way? Yeah, you want to have another look at that? Hang on, let me grab it. So, yeah, I was quite pleased with that. But we will do some of those. I can show you those. Do you want me to just show you one? Do you want me to just I'll just paint one for you now, actually. Let's do that. Let's find the colours. So we need Gauze Blaster Green. That's what we need, Gauze Blaster Green. We need this orange ink. Magadroth Flame. We need that. And we need that blue. Let me get it for you. We need this blue. So let's do one for you now. I can show you how to do it. And we use this blue, Aryan blue. So if we're doing the blade, I am going to use my masking tape as well. I am going to tape it. So I've got 3 mil, and a 6 mil for tanks. But this tape's super useful. But I'm going to just use a bit of this because we haven't used it in a few days. So I was going to say in a while, but everything is so new that it's only been a handful of days since I've last used this. But it's nice. I like that. Like, we've already joked a few times that we've been like, oh, back in the day, but it was only 2 weeks. Let's just do this for Jesk. So we just whack this on around the hand. Doesn't have to be super neat. I just want to, I mean, I don't even really need to do this, to be honest. I don't feel like I need to do this with the tape. It's a little bit excessive, but I just really want, do you know what? Screw the tape. We'll just do it without the tape. The hand isn't even painted. I'm not losing anything by getting paint on there. What we do need to do is get the paint on. So Aryan blue. And what we want to do is we kind of want to paint it, almost all of it. So I'll just whack a bit on here. And we just go, just not a huge amount, just a bit. That's all it needs, just to bring it off the grey. But try to leave some texture. It's a really quick way to work. It's really good for rusty. Well, it's not rusty. The idea is that it's copper. That's what we were aiming for. But then we go on there. And it's not got any edge highlighting on it. It's got a few strategic dabs of orange, but other than that. So now we have to wait for that to dry. It shouldn't take too long. It's a really thin coat, but we'll wait for that to dry. Maybe a mix of alphabets. A Sphenic Room, the Block Latinx was here, and the Pseudo-Cyrillic. I don't know what any of that means. That sounds like smart person stuff. You're talking to table. I'm not smart. You have to give me a little bit of explanation, or better yet, if you're on my Discord, or you can send me an email, you could just send me. Do you know what? I'll just Google it. What I'll do is I'll try not to forget. I'm going to write it on a post-it. Let me write these things down for me to Google. That's what I'll do. I'll use a post-it. So what I need is runic. What I'd like is to have a lot of graffiti with the terrain. Runic, runic script, block Latin, oh, nothing tastes as good as null oil, as nice as null oil. That's quite a lot of graffiti to write, block Latin, and then pseudo Cyrillic. I hear you. I'm hearing you. I'm listening. There we go. That's what I needed to do. There we go. Now I know. Okay, so that's been long enough for the blade. So now we go in with the Gauze Blaster Green. And we do a little less than what we had just done. So Gauze Blaster Green is that. And you don't have to be over strategic with it. So that should be enough. So then we just go in with this. And this is definitely on surfaces. This you want to do on edges, because you would think that the edges would oxidize first. Let's get a bit more on there. But again, you want it to be patchy because oxidization isn't uniform. So, and you can go as much or as little as you like with this. I think I might leave a little bit more blue this time. I think I might leave it like that. Get a bit more on the brush. Oh, that's way more than I'm ever going to need. I'm going to put some of that back in the pot. Don't need that much. I don't like wasting paints if I can avoid it. But sometimes I do give up on them. So I might just put a tiny bit more on there. Oh, hello. What's not going on? And then let's do this other side. But it's a pretty quick process. Oh, hello. That's loads. Let's try and... Oh, I did it again. Let's just wipe that and then go in again with that, with the stippling. That was too much, I feel. Hello, brush. Are you not stippling for me? Stipple for me, please. Stipple, 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 stipple. Stipple, stipple, stipple. There we go. And then I'll just do a bit along this edge. Doesn't have to be... It's better to not be perfect with it, to be honest. There we go. So it's a lot more on that side than on this side. So I might try and even that up ever so slightly. Just a bit more. There we go. Good. We wait for that to dry. And then all we do is the strategic dabbing of orange. But we have to let it wait. You could rush it, but the trouble is the ink will bleed into the wet paint. And you'll get this weird, like, smushy, not nice look to it. So you don't want to smush that. You don't want to rush it. I know it's a real issue for me that I want to continue with the bit that I'm working on. But my recommendation is have multiple different projects of different colours going on. And then while something's drying, you can just pick up, like, for example, that was drying. So we picked up him, did a little touch up. And then we just got onto this sword. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. Like, having multiple projects, I guess it's not for everyone, but I was speaking to my friend Darren. I'm on this tiny WhatsApp group. It's just 3 people, and we post stuff. And he was saying that he doesn't want to paint because he's working on these Orc Death Copters, and he's like, I thought I was enjoying them, but I'm not. It's like I have to finish them. And I suggested, like, have another project on the go. I suggested doing that, and hopefully that will work for him. But I heavily recommend it. Like, have multiple projects. And then you can just do a little bit as and when you want. That's still ever so slightly wet. Yeah, ever so slightly. Not a lot, but just ever so slightly. But yeah, so I think we're pretty much at the end for today. In a perfect world, guys, being Friday night, I will be on later as well. And it is my intention to be. Side, and the batch painting doesn't have 60 Ratkin. Yeah, batch painting is more effective, but the issue is that it can get a bit exhausting. But I think that's where airbrushes really come into their own. You're welcome. Well, let's just do the orange. Did I announce that too soon? Let's just do the orange. If you haven't left me a like already, please do. Let's get this orange on. So again, recesses, and what you do is you just kind of stipple it on. And you don't have to do it perfect, and then you just a little bit on wherever you want, right? And then what you do is, whilst it's still wet, you just stick it in your t-shirt, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pick it, and I'm just going to take my t-shirt, my Mankey t-shirt, and I'm just going to do this. And there you go. Done. There's your sword. And that's all it is. And I think it looks all right. The t-shirt dab is integral to the process. And if you want to, you can put a little extra in little recesses if you want to. But that's what you can do. But airbrushes, that's a whole nother creature. That's a whole nother facet to the hobby that I've not experienced. That's like late game stuff, because you need, you know, the compressor, the brush, how to understand the paints, and you need the space to not only do it, but to air out the place as well. So it's that's definitely late game stuff. You know, if there's a friggin' Warhammer paint, if there's a model painting channel that's using airbrushes, you know they're late game. They've got some bucks behind them. But anyway, so yeah, that's the sword. I think it's a nice little tip. I will be doing all of my ogre stuff like that. It's just very easy to do. No, it's definitely something. If you had like a model room or a model studio or a garage, I think it would be good. But yeah, so there you go. That's it. Right, I'm off. 10 likes. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that a great deal. It's really going to help the old ad revenue. Hopefully we can get it to go up a bit. Shame we didn't get a draw today, but you know, I'll just continue them over, and there's always another day that we can do them. Hopefully see you tonight, and if not, I'll see you tomorrow, but you'll probably see me tonight. All right, bye guys. Bye.